so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks.
What's up? How y'all doing? That's what I'm talking about, okay? I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of, I'm gonna give you a hint about public speaking. The energy that y'all give us, that's the energy we gonna get right back to y'all, okay? So y'all keep that energy up, and we're gonna have some fun, okay? All right. I'm gonna tell y'all a little bit about myself. So when I was little, I used to dream that I was an astronaut or the Silver Surfer, sailing between solar systems, sitting on my surfboard, my skin shimmering seamlessly with unknown elements. You see, my mind managed to break free from the hood long before my physical followed. I wish that I could teach my people how to fly, how to think differently. My neighborhood is littered with broken bottle dreams and empty weed sack promises around me. People are prisoners of their own skin. Bones have become bars. Dreams remain dreams, and things don't seem as achievable as they once were. They say survival is a suit, only tailored for the fittest. And our dreams have gotten so far from us that they have morphed into satellites selling our fantasies back for like $90 a month or something like that. My neighborhood is full of shooting stars that aspirate from their destinies. Fiery tails flickered out before they got gas to go across this galaxy. They say the hood is full of walking nightmares who forgot that they were once daydreams. They say my people are a solar system with no North Star, just black holes, a group of gas simply shining till we sizzle out. But I believe that they are just too short-sighted to see shooting stars in full sail. We are asteroids. We are not as alien as they think, not wholly human, nor distinctively deity. Going between Gaia and glory, we are media mediators sitting somewhere between sinner and savior with divine minds and heavenly bodies, created in the image of the Most High, celestial star. We are the light of the earth. My mama used to tell me that being from the hood was no excuse for me to not pursue my dreams. We are much more starved than pressed palms in Hollywood pavement. If they just took the time to microscope our souls, they would see that we are made of miracle, assembled in astro dust, cosmic creations capable of crafting comets in our cuticles and covered in Coogee cash and Cadillacs. But when my people see that we don't need shining chains and whips, we rock the rings of Saturn. We push spaceships, my sisters, who rip the atmosphere with the switch of a hip, my brothers, who bend time and space by the break of a fitted brain. We got supernovas for souls. Through time, I found my dream seekers, you all, my dream speakers, my Dallas youth poets who placed fantasies on blast and forced them to materialize in front of eyes. I was looking for y'all, and I finally found you, sailing slowly in my spaceship, my surfboard made out of silver. I knew that you were out here, somewhere. Y'all still good? So I wear a lot of hats, y'all. I am a poet, obviously. I'm also an architect. That's my day job. And I teach poetry. I run a couple of after-school poetry clubs here in DFW. And most recently, I became the executive director of the Dallas Youth Poets. Thank you. I wish that I could stand here tonight and tell y'all that I did these things because I wanted to. I mean, I did, but the roles more so came out of a sense of obligation. My desire to be an architect came from a promise that I made to my family to finish my education and to become a professional and become gainfully employed. Hopefully I could, raise my family and take care of them. The poet in me arose from this need to exercise the trauma and the joys and triumphs that I've celebrated in my life. I've always been a quiet person, and this has given me an outlet to express myself. So it's keeping me sane, quite literally. And the need to be a teacher and director arose from the need of my community. We need leaders in our community. We need people to play roles that once served them when they were younger, so that we can continue this trend of bringing our youth up and bringing our people up and supporting each other in the way that we should go. And so that's kind of how I grew to become the person that y'all looking at. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. I was born and raised. Moved to Dallas in 2011. And man, there's a lot of stories circulating about Chicago right now. Some good, a lot of them bad. But I guarantee that the bad is only one chapter of about 1,000 in that city. And I'm going to give you mine today. So I was raised in a working household. two-parent household. My mom worked in the healthcare industry. My father was a corrections officer. My grandmother was a registered nurse. And we were raised very conservative Christian. And so this kind of created this really nurturing environment for me to grow up in and kind of develop. And it saved my life, man, quite honestly. And it really taught me to care for people. My dad, in addition to being a corrections officer, he also battled with an addiction to crack cocaine for the majority of his life, and cigarettes as well. And at 55, he passed away from lung cancer. And that was in 2015. And the year before that, my grandfather passed from cancer. My grandmother passed from cancer. And the year before that, my grandfather passed from cancer. And seeing all these people die immediately next to me in succession really kind of gave me this sense that, man, like when I leave this earth, I want people to speak highly. I wanna leave knowing that I did something and I helped people, because that's what the people in my family did. And so it's just me just passing it on. So just to give you an idea of what Chicago was like for me, you ever been down a road and it's had like a lot of potholes in it, and you got to kind of dodge them. And you got the small potholes where you hit it, it's no big deal. Dum, dum, dum. And then you got the boom. You got the big potholes where you got to pull over and make sure your car is still intact. And so imagine that the road is the city or the neighborhood you grew up in, and you are the car. So for me, I had a lot of potholes around me. Potholes like obviously drug and alcohol addiction, gang violence and poverty, and unemployment, unplanned parenthood, horrible schools. And Chicago suffers from decades and decades of institutionalized segregation, and from our housing to our education systems, all the way down to our employment. And some of these potholes we can dodge, some of them we can't. But lucky for me, I had people in my life. I had a system set around me to kind of help dodge some of these potholes. The first of which was my parents. My mom ain't played no games, y'all, okay? I don't know if y'all heard about Black Mamas. Black Mamas is for real. But my mama was amazing, and she still is to this day. Very loving, very nurturing, and she kept me and my younger sister busy in everything. School, churches, extracurricular activities like sports teams. We stayed in the library, man. I devoured books in the summertime. It was crazy. And my dad, I know I told you that he battled an addiction for the majority of his life, but he was also a very faithful man, and he was a minister for a while. And he was my dad, but he also played a role of like a best friend, like a big brother to me. And what he would do was he would kind of navigate my road for me, and he would tell me about potholes that he hit in his life, and whether or not he was able to recover from them. And he was very blunt, gave it to me straight, no chaser, and told me about these things, hoping that I would dodge these potholes. And I think it's important that we have kind of somebody looking ahead of us and telling us what's coming up. It's kind of like predicting the weather. I was in a church, man. Look, I was in the church, y'all. Okay, so close that the pastor's like my uncle. And he took me under his wing, still did to this day. And that was where I got a lot of my early public speaking skills, doing speeches for Easter, doing announcements on Sunday. And I was fortunate enough that I had a deacon in my church named Kevin Martin, who was a teacher at the local high school. And he was also the head coach of our speech and forensics team. And for the next 4 years in high school, I received the training and the discipline and the community needed to develop some very, very strong public speaking skills. And that was essential for me because I was born with a speech impediment. I came out stuttering, something crazy. And I was also very shy and introverted. And these skills and these people poured into me so that I could become who you're looking at today. So, I'm not me because of me, but it's a community of people. Thank you. I literally flew out of the hood, man, on a paper plane. My community, my mentors were the wings. My faith was the engine. My education was the gasoline. Y'all, I was studious in school. I loved books. I loved to read. And I became very, very hungry for knowledge, man. That's what I was good at. My mom would drop us off at the library, and by the time we got home, I had finished half the books, what I'm saying, that we had read. I had very important teachers, man. A teacher by the name of Gil Davis taught CAD, which is computer-aided drafting in my school. And man, he taught me CAD, and he said, "Look, man, don't be a draftsman, go be an architect." So I left school. I got a scholarship to attend Tuskegee University and Hampton University, two very prestigious historically black colleges, and I learned about myself. I learned about my culture. But all of these people pushed me here. My education, you know what I'm saying, my community, my mentors, my family. And then after that, it was the arts. And what education couldn't teach me, y'all, the arts taught me. You know, if I learned something for education, the arts taught me how to put it in my own words. Man, I'm a hip hop head. I learned from rap music all day. They say it's bad. It's a lot of good rap music out here, y'all. And if I didn't know something, I would go look it up. Before Google, you had to go find it in a book or you had to ask around. And just learning these things, man, just contributed to the person I became now. I went and I continued to do poetry in college. I majored in architecture, and I met friends that I continue to commune with to this day in this very city. I moved home back to Chicago in the midst of the recession. I wound up teaching at my church. I became a Sunday school teacher, teaching kids, and that was my entryway into becoming a mentor myself and becoming an educator myself. So this next poem I'm gonna do for y'all is a poem about one of my early students, okay? I know a little girl who wears broken bifocals. She cannot see that she is beautiful. She is 9, and she loves reading, she loves writing, but I'm not so certain that she loves herself. It is Easter, and we are rehearsing her Easter poem together, and in it, it says that the mountains skip with gladness at the coming of the Lord. She looks at me and she says, Mr. Odis, I think that's personification. And at that exact moment, I wish that those exact same mountains were people for real. I wish that they would lift their skirts, move to Chicago, Illinois, and use the wind to whisper compliments to her confidence, y'all. She herself is a mountain, bigger than her peers, a little stout tower of power. She is heavy, physically, mentally, and emotionally. She walks around with the weight of the world on her consciousness. She's got these self-esteem issues that got more subscribers in essence. She wears this crown, formed from the thorns of teasing children. They poke her in the side. Christ, you've got to feel her pain. She's got these year-round allergies, and when she breathes, they take a toll on her lungs that they are driving down a George Bush tollway. But oh, if they were unhindered, she could whisper winds that would rip the ceiling off of Saturn, and the rings will rearrange and sign her name. Renaya is a quiet giant with the strength of 10 black women trapped inside of her, fighting so ferociously to escape that she wears spandex to keep her clothing from bursting at the seams. She does not realize her power yet. I pray that 9-year-old girls never ever have to go through this. If I could, I would take a low self-esteem and I would rest it on my shoulders. I would decorate it and parade it across the south side of Chicago like a 2-man Bud Billiken Day parade. Our little ladies are looking for loans of love when they should be given for free, asking nothing in return. They need it. You see, girls like Renaya are queens in training, with Easter dresses made of mountains and barrettes created from their snow caps. I wish that I could remove the mask from my stuttering problem and my facial twitch to show her that she is created just as perfect as anybody else by a God who makes everything with the exception of mistakes. I need for her to see that she is more beautiful than a month full of sunrises. As a poet, as an educator, I wish that I could stand in front of you today and tell you that somehow I gave her the correct combination of words to unlock her beautiful spirit. But I didn't. I just showed her the door, and she did that all by herself. So after a while, man, mentorship and community has always been a constant in my life. And I moved here and I found a community of poets, slam poets, literary poets, touring poets, and one of which took about an hour time and just poured his heart out to me and told me a lot of things that I know. And at the time, he had just founded Dallas Youth Poets, which was established in 2012. And so I would come around, hang out, and we have bi-weekly workshops on the weekend. And I came around, I hung out a couple times. I ended up helping out, giving them advice on their poems and things of that nature. And one year he was like, man, I can't do it no more. I'm getting burnt out. My schedule is busy. And so he ended up passing it on to a couple of poets who have been involved. Myself, Rage Almighty, who as of last year was the #2 ranked poet in the world. He's amazing. And Princess McDowell, who is a staple in the Dallas poetry community. And together we come together and we form Hydra, the evil conglomerate we really form Dallas Youth Poets. And we are the ones who coach these kids and kind of bring them through to where you've seen them at this afternoon. So they were amazing, weren't they? Clap it up for the Dallas Youth Poets. So the mission of Dallas Youth Poets is to provide a safe space for youth from the ages of 14 to 19. And our objective is to empower the voices of young people so that they can become better poets, better students, and in turn, better people and better citizens. And so we teach these writing and these performance skills, but they also reinforce things like hard work, teamwork, and commanding space, and they become transferable skills that they can eventually take with them when they go on to college or when they go on to become the next versions of you and I. Our motto is, we write in blood. And we say that because the kids write very, very honest poems. We teach them that it's okay to be vulnerable. We create a safe space, which is one of our pillars, where they can come and they can talk to us about things that they might not talk to their parents about or that they might get chastised about in school. Because I was that kid once. Imagine being a black kid in the Jordan era who sucked at basketball, okay? So we create this space for them to come in and commune and find community and just be together, man. And everything else just happens. We focus on mentorship because they give us a lot, and we give them everything we know, and they take it and they soak it up. But it also makes us better people, and we hold each other accountable because we know they're looking at us and the things we do, not just the things we say, and that's important to us. And we also teach the transferable skills, and they also learn how to become artists. You know, now they run their own open mic. You know, when we go fundraising, they run the fundraise. They make their set list for the features and everything, and they coach each other and they hold each other just as accountable as we do, and that's a beautiful thing. Demographically speaking, our kids come from all across the DFW, as far as Fort Worth, Capel, all the way down past Duncanville and DeSoto. All colors, all economic classes. And, man, we got some of the brightest kids in the city, y'all. Let me tell you, I'm so proud. Man, one of our kids just got a ride to Penn. He got a 35 on his ACT, y'all. Okay? Yeah, that's out of a possible 36. Okay? Look, serious. Another one of our young ladies who was on stage earlier got a 32 on her ACT in her junior year. She's graduating high school a year early, and she'll be attending the University of Texas in Arlington, and she's going to major in political science, okay? That's a big deal. Several others got scholarships and college opportunities across the state and beyond, and we just got, man, some of the most wonderful kids, man. A couple of them go to a couple of HBCUs, and that makes me really, really proud. And, man, it's amazing. We travel all across the country. We go to Albuquerque, New Mexico annually for a competition and festival, Bryan, Texas. Last year we went to San Francisco. And y'all, just so you know, this slam thing isn't just local to Dallas, Texas. We go to a festival called Brave New Voices, which has been around for 25 years. This is year 26. And this slam movement is growing. And just like in Dallas, Texas, this movement is creating the next leaders of our great nation. And these people are very in tune with what's going on. They've lived through it and have lived to tell about it and are articulate enough to bring it to a room full of people. And this makes me very, very proud, y'all, because in the end, our ideals of mentorship and community and having a safe space and the arts and transferable skills, y'all, are carrying on. It's gonna carry on for years. And so I think that when I die and when, you know, I'm gonna be able to be happy because somebody is carrying on a good work. And I think that's what it's about. Thank you.